You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.
Scorpio.
Good morning, Yankees universe, and welcome back to another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew on this Tuesday, October 15th. Like always, I'm your guy Hector, hanging out with my compadre this morning. I got the lovely Grace Monroe. Grace, how you feeling this morning, Grace?
Oh, wow. The sun is shining. The birds are chirping. Garrett Cole is on the mound tonight. I mean, I'm at a 10 out of 10 right now. I mean, we're all on a high, I think. I woke up thinking Luke Weaver is him.
Definitely on a high. I know Yankee fans out there, this has been a very emotional season, right? It's an emotional roller coaster of a season. We started the year off on fire. Then we had the month of June and August where we looked like the Chicago White Sox. And then in September, we turned things around. We had the first round of the ALDS against the Kansas City Royals. Aaron Judge, he gave us little to nothing. And then in game one against the Cleveland Guardians, the man that I know I'm guilty of criticizing, and Grace as well, and other Yankee fans, Carlos Rodon stepped up and he showed up in a big way. And that's what we needed from Carlos Rodon. 6 innings, strikeout after strikeout. Hold on, I want to pull this up real quick because they announced it on the broadcast yesterday. Oh, wait, this is the wrong person. But they announced this on the broadcast yesterday. When it comes to Carlos Rodon, 25 whiffs swings and misses. The most when it comes to a Yankee starter in the postseason. Carlos Rodon was money yesterday, Grace. How much of a big step do you think this is, not only for Carlos Rodon, but for the team as a whole, building that good momentum going into game 2?
My God. I mean, what can you say about what Carlos Rodon did last night? 9 strikeouts, 0 walks, 0 walks. 47% swing and miss. He had his slider working and they were chasing it, y'all. It's just what we dreamed of.
Yes.
I mean, when he's got his secondary pitch able to generate swing and miss, he settles in, he calms down, and he slices his way through. I mean, Wells was calling a great game. Let's give credit to Wells, because let me tell you right now, oh God, what's his name? I can't think of it. Their leadoff hitter. Oh God.
Stephen Kwan.
Yes, thank you so much. I knew it was an S. Y'all, my brain's weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Stephen Kwan. When he came out, I said, okay, Los, just he's gonna see 12 pitches. Just settle in. Don't lose it. Don't, pace yourself, because this guy will see so many pitches. It's so frustrating. And we've seen in the past that when batters have a game plan to just foul off, it can rattle Rodon, and it has in the past. Yeah. But not last night. Not last night. He was pacing. He was settled. He was just calibrated for a long night, and he went deep. That's what we needed. It was awesome. Our bullpen was already rested, but now they're even more rested. We only had to use 3 pitchers out of the bullpen. They did end up having to use Weaver for 5 outs, but he got a second 5-out save. I mean, listen, kudos to Carlos Rodon. He learned from his last outing. That's all you can ask from any player, not just pitcher, any player. Learn from the last outing, get better, because
short-term memory.
And the postseason is won in the margins, just a teeny, just a 1% better, just a 2% better. That's what Carlos Rodon did. I mean, he would have made any team afraid to face him again in Game 5.
I want to shout out the chat real quick. Before I shout out the chat on YouTube, I want to shout out those that are watching on Instagram. We got a few people in there. Yankee Dave is in the building. My good friend Ali 1989. Events NY is in the building. Eric Peretti is in the building. Shout out to my guy E from Citywide. Quiet Mysteries is in the building. Shout out to everybody. If you're watching us on Instagram, click the link in the bio. Come on over to YouTube. Join this beautiful community we have over here. Yankee Dave, my guy. I always see you liking our videos, interacting in the live stream. If you want, go on YouTube, type in Uptown Sports TV, join the live conversation, and join this beautiful community, because I want to shout out everyone in the building. First and foremost, I want to highlight this from my girlfriend, Alex, who says, a huge shout out to Grace for her appearance on Dexter Henry's show this week. Grace had a chance to sit down with our good friend Dexter Henry, a part of SNY and New York Sports, to represent the New York Yankees and Yankees Brew. Make sure you guys go and watch that video. Grace did phenomenal. Shout out to Grace. Our good friend Frankie Rivera is in the building. Frankie, how you doing, big fella? Citone is in the building. Shout out to Citone in the building. Stephen B is in the building. Uncle Nosebleed section, how you doing? Pizza M is in the building. Our good friend Anna Marie LeBeau is in the building. Anna Marie, how you doing? The Ace Avenue, yo Ace, I'm throwing this out there right now. Yo Ace, if you're free this Thursday, write it in the chat. I'm going to DM you on Twitter, send you a link so you could join me, Grace, and Damien, so we could talk this Thursday coming up, or tomorrow, because the Yankees play tonight, which means we should have a live stream tomorrow so we could go over the game. What do you say, Grace? Yes or no?
I'm down to clown if you are.
Down to clown. We're going to do it tomorrow at like 12 o'clock. That way we take like an hour extra rest, because we need an hour rest. 12 o'clock, Ace, just let us know. Who else is in the building? Shout out to Grace Monroe, who's in the building.
She's so annoying.
Building. Salute. 3 capital S's. Going back to that Yankee game, right? It's the ALCS against the Cleveland Guardians. It's easy for us Yankee fans to live in the right now, right? We're cooking with hot grease. But one player that I think Yankee fans, they need to give their flowers to, right? And that's Giancarlo Stanton. When we acquired Giancarlo Stanton, I think in the offseason of like 2018, like when Shohei Ohtani was a free agent, when Shohei didn't sign with the Yankees, Brian Cashman pivoted and getting Giancarlo Stanton. And Katie Sharp puts it up there on Twitter. Giancarlo Stanton has 13 home runs and 32 postseason games with the New York Yankees. 13 plus home runs and any other 32 game span in the postseason. There's only one Yankee to ever do that, and his name is George Herbert Ruth, baby Ruth. So when Giancarlo Stanton is in the same breath as Babe Ruth, something good is happening. Now I get it. He's not the MVP from the National League, from the Marlins. I get it. He can't run like he used to. But seeing what Giancarlo is doing, and then you put the money aside, I know he's making 30 million AAV, but the Yankees are only paying 20 million of that, 20 to 22 million of that. When you look at the market and when you look at the production you're getting out of Giancarlo Stanton, he is living up to his money. He is living up to, he may not be that cleanup hitter, that protector behind Aaron Judge, but he is a guy that's a contributor in that lineup. And when he is going, it makes everyone else in this lineup better. Yes, our captain, number 99, he carries us. Yes, Juan Soto is his Robin. But seeing what Giancarlo Stanton has done in the postseason, we wouldn't be here right now without Big G. So let's give him his respect and let's give him his flowers when it's due. What's your thoughts?
Absolutely. I'm always ready to give Giancarlo whatever he wants and needs, as well documented on this show. I got my Murderers Row t-shirt on. Giancarlo with the homer. Juan Soto with the homer. Aaron Judge with the RBI sack fly. Let's go, Murderers Row. I have a stat here, Hector, to support what you're saying. The Yankees this season, including the postseason, regular season and postseason combined, are 74 and 40 with Big G in the starting lineup.
Big time.
So, I mean, I think that's a mic drop moment. I think all of the haters can kick rocks because Big G is that guy. When it matters, he is there. He is clutch. We've always been saying he's clutch, and he has made hay when the sun shines. That's what we say in the South. Make hay when the sun shines. So basically, you make your money when you can. You make your hay when you can, or whatever, because you know hay has to dry out. Let me not tell y'all how to make hay, but just trust me. When the sun is shining, that's when it's time to do it. So in the postseason, Giancarlo makes his hay. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. No, listen. you hit it right on the head. And Frank Rivera, shout out to Frankie Rivera in the chat. I want to bring this up and highlight this comment right here. He said, I am proud of Wells, talking about Austin Wells, especially to shut up the know-it-all that are always knocking him by playing a great game behind the plate and being in full control of Carlos Rodon on the mound when it comes to calling that game. Shout out to Austin Wells, because that is key. You saw it yesterday's game. The Cleveland Guardians, their starting pitcher and their pitchers coming out of bullpen, they were rattled. They were walking people left and right, wild pitches, advancing runners. That's what happened in the postseason. When you have those type of errors, you're giving the game away. Having a guy like Austin Wells, we've seen all the evolution of Austin Wells during the season. He's a rookie. He came up last year in September, but I know he's technically a rookie this year. While he was coming up with the Yankees, right? And shout out to everybody, you know, Lowe's from Yankees Farm. He does a great job covering the Yankees prospects. One criticism that I know I had and other people who cover the sport had on Austin Wells was his defense behind the plate. Was he able to call a game at the major league level? Could he do that for 162 games, right, in a regular season? And you see the maturity from where he was at the beginning of the season to right now on October 15th. Not only is this kudos to Austin Wells because of his work ethic and the coaching staff, but a lot of credit goes to Jose Trevino. Jose Trevino was an all-star with the New York Yankees. When Jose Trevino went down and Austin Wells took control of that job, Trevino could have came out there and complained and wanted to get traded. This is a guy who is a team-first guy. His character is to help the younger guys. And you can tell Jose Trevino has really taken a liking to Austin Wells. Whenever they cut off and they're showing the game and they cut to the Yankees dugout and you see Austin Wells, there's two people you always see next to Austin Wells: Anthony Volpe, his BFF, and Jose Trevino going over game strategy, going over the scouting reports for the next hitters that are coming up. How do you attack them, right? So not only credit to Austin Wells when it comes to his work ethic, but we got to give credit to Jose Trevino. He was a veteran that was an all-star with the Yankees. He lost his job to a rookie. He could have poo-pooed it. He could have been a bad drama queen in the clubhouse, but he wasn't. He was a professional, and he was an adult. So shout out to Trevi.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a Texas boy. He's got an amazing character. Absolutely does so much charity work for his hometown, and he's just got a great heart. He's a great guy. I'm not surprised that he's acting that way because he is classy and he's just got great character. I know everybody's talking about what are we going to do in the cleanup spot, and you know, Austin Wells is there. Like, should we switch somebody out? They asked me this on, you know, Dexter asked me this in our interview, and I said no, because, you know, I want to keep the right, left. Same. For the Guardians' strength is their bullpen. They can pull anybody they want to get matchup, right? So I think we got to leave right, left. Now, yesterday I heard some buzz going around in the community. Should we switch Rizzo with Wells in the order? Because nobody's taking Austin Wells out of the starting lineup. Yeah. His presence behind the plate, like you just detailed, is awesome. So nobody's messing with that. But should they switch maybe Rizzo and Wells in the order, or Jazz and Wells in the order? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. We just need Wells. Here's what I want. Heck, ready? This is what I want from Austin Wells right now. He's not driving in runs, but almost every time he's coming up to the plate, there's somebody on. Yeah. Soto's been so good with getting on base. Torres has been so good at getting on base. And Judge walks sometimes. Here's what I want Austin Wells to do. I want Austin Wells to almost think of himself as a second leadoff hitter. You're leading off for Giancarlo. Let him see more pitches. Just get on base. I don't need you to try to drive in runs. I know that he's got in his mind, well, I don't know, but I assume he's got in his mind, I'm the cleanup hitter. I got to drive in runs. I'm going to try to drive in runs. I don't want him to think like that. I want him to work long at bats, get on base, whether it's a walk or a base hit or anything like that. That's what I want him to focus on. And then let Giancarlo come behind him with the power and drive everybody home or drive everybody in. That's what I want him to think like. I feel like he's being overly aggressive early in the count, and that's not his game. So I want him to get back to, you know, the long at bats, the patience, and that's what I want him to get back to there. That's all I want.
I don't want you to think I was laughing at you with what you said. I looked at the chat. Shout out to Crackle Nuts, my guy Crackle Nuts. I love this bastard. He said, "Can we have DJ LeMahieu clean up? What do you guys think?" No, Crackle Nuts, DJ LeMahieu. It's not the good cleanup hitter that you think he is. Shout out to Crackle Nuts in the building. Shout out to D's channel as well in the building. I want to shout out my guy, mi hermano de la isla, my guy Ghost. Shout out to Ghost. Got to keep that momentum. Listen, I know my guy Ghost is a Jet fan, right? And I know the Jets lost yesterday, but you guys just traded for Devontae Adams, right? So you guys have a good weapon coming your way. Shout out to my guy Ghost, always supporting the channel. Love that man to the day I die, honestly. Gregory Wayne in the building. Shout out to Gregory. He said they are still leaving too many batters on base. And that's something that I want to point out, because Ace makes a great point, just like Gregory. I'd rather have Wells at the 4 than Rizzo. Wells can still provide you more pop than Rizzo can. And not for that, right? I want to keep Rizzo where he's at in the 8th spot of the lineup, because during the season, that 7, 8, 9 spot in our lineup has been dead. We've had little to no production coming out of that part of the order. So if you have Wells as your 8th hitter and you're sandwiching him in between Anthony Volpe and Alex Verdugo at that bottom half of the lineup, even if there's nobody on base, if Anthony Rizzo can get on base, whether it's a walk, whether it's a single or double, you're setting it up perfectly. Now you got Torres, Soto, and Judge coming up with somebody on base. If Anthony Volpe's on first or second, you got a veteran in Anthony Rizzo who can hit it to the left field. Is not always trying to pull the ball. So I will leave Rizzo at the 8th spot, 7th, 8th, or 9. For those late inning or late game runs that we need. If you got somebody on right in the 8th inning and we don't have Aaron Judge or Soto coming back up for the rest of the game, those insurance runs means a lot. You saw it in yesterday's game. Giancarlo Stanton hit that home run. He gave us a 4-run lead, and then Cleveland started crawling back. Insurance runs matter no matter how you can get them. And I feel if you leave Rizzo in the 8th spot, he can steal a couple of runs for you that would probably be automatic outs if you would have flip-flopped the lineup.
Oh, yeah. Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position last night. 0 for 7.
That's not good.
It's not good. It's actually unacceptable. We ended up capitalizing off a lot of walks, off a lot of wild pitches, off a lot of pass balls. We were scratching across runs, and that's what you got to do. You got to play the game in front of you. No shade to the guys. They got the dub. That's all that matters at the end of the day. But we have places we can improve. We definitely do. So, I mean, Jazz has got to hit, y'all. I love Jazz, but Jazz has got to hit. I mean, we need Wellesley to just get on base in front of Giancarlo. That's all we need. And Judge is so close. He's so close, y'all.
Close. He got robbed his last at bat. He got robbed.
Yeah. Don't even get me started on the umpire. I was losing my mind. I mean, these umpires are selected specifically for the postseason because they've had the best rating all year. Is this the best we have? He's about to call. He's about to catch these hands all the way from Texas. I was about to go up there and he's about to catch these Texas hands because I was like, are you serious? Aaron Judge is 7 feet tall and you're calling a ball that's 6 inches below his knee, my boy. You got to be, oh man, I was livid. But that aside, the umpiring aside, the wind last night was swirling around, and I'm not blaming the wind. Okay. I'm not like, oh, the wind. But it was a factor. Fly balls were dying, especially out to right field. And I feel like he got robbed of what would have been a homer on another night. And he also had some bad umpiring that he was suffering from. He did have a sac fly, which ended up scoring a ribby, and he had a hard hit ball. He's seeing it. He's barreling it up. He's coming around, y'all. He's close. He's real close.
I just want to point out, my guy Pizza M in the chat says, I do hope the umpires have bodyguards when they leave the stadium after games. If I'm going to pull it up, I went to umpirescorecards.com, and Mike Esbrook was the umpire behind the plate in yesterday's game, Yanks versus Guardians. His overall accuracy was 96%. That's right, 1% above what MLB wants for their umpires. So
wait, is this last night or is this
last night? Last night. No, last night.
Go ahead.
His relative accuracy was 2.2% above what they expected him to be. His overall consistency for the game was 94%, a percentage less than what MLB wants for their umpires. Just to let everybody know, when we go over these umpire scorecards, MLB wants their umpires to be at 95%. So overall consistency, he's at 94. When you look at this is what's funny as hell. His missed calls, right? When it comes to balls, he was accurate, 100% accurate when balls that were outside the strike zone. That's crazy. That's amazing. Now, when it comes to his strikes, his accuracy with the strike calls, 88%. He was accurate with his only 88%. So that is, if I'm doing the math correctly, that is 7% less than what MLB wants for their umpires. So he was less than what MLB expected to him. Like I said, 88% was the accuracy. Now, when you look into advanced stats and metrics and whatever, I don't do that. But his overall favor, his inconsistency led to 0.02 runs allowed against Cleveland. So make whatever you want the fuck to make with that.
I did see that he called a couple strikes for us that were a little high. But I said
he was very favorable to Luke Weaver at the end of the game.
Yes. But hey, turnabout is fair play, and we've been getting shitty calls all day. So hey, they deserve to have some shitty calls too. Yeah. I mean, but it's just unacceptable. 95%, in my opinion, is not acceptable in the postseason. Oh, you got 95% right? No, it's not okay. Like, this is too. No, I can't.
No, one thing I would say is Alex Cobb, his first at bat against Aaron Judge, when Judge struck out looking at that pitch on the outside corner, that was a perfect pitch. I want to give Alex Cobb credit for that.
Nasty pitch work in there. Oh, yeah.
For the first two innings, his sinker, his two-seamer was filthy, was disgusting. But also, this is a guy that has to rebuild his stamina. This is a guy that in the last month of the season, his index finger that he grips the ball in, the nail cracked and ripped off, and he has a blister on this finger as well. So he was able to get through whatever he got through, battling a missing fingernail and a blister right here. I'm sorry. I apologize. Sorry for that. But
my God.
This is the thing. And I bring this up to say this. In order to get Aaron Judge out, you have to pitch perfect. And that's what Alex Cobb did. He made a perfect pitch that 9 times out of 10 may get called for a ball. It hit the corner of the strike zone, and it was a strike. So shout out to Alex Cobb. Okay. He made a perfect pitch when he needed to.
But, heck, if he hadn't made that shitty strike 2 call, it wouldn't have been strike 3.
I agree with you. I agree. And I'm not that's not what I am trying to argue against. I agree with you that we need to see better umpiring, right? Balls and strikes, and especially in the postseason, they need to be called better. You need to tighten that up. But let's give credit where credit's due. Alex Cobb made a perfect pitch. He made a perfect pitch to get Aaron Judge out. But like you said, and like people in the chat said, I do think Judge is going to turn it around. Right? He had some balls that he hit on the screws. Yeah, and they were caught beautifully. So, and he played amazing defense. That's the one thing I want to talk about Aaron Judge. Yeah, amazing defense. He tracked down a ball in left center field that probably would have landed if it was anybody. If that was Aaron Hicks, that shit would have landed. Aaron Hicks ain't catching that shit. I want to shout out my guy, Ultra Cowboy fan in the building. Luke Weaver goes from the Tijuana Baseball League to a stud closer. Matt Blake is a blessing in disguise. And you know what? I got a clip that I want to play. Shout out to Luke Weaver, because this is what it felt like when Luke Weaver came into the game. And that's what it felt like when Luke Weaver came into the game, runners on, and he shut it down, right? Luke Weaver is my closer. Luke Weaver is my guy. And MLB Network, they put it out on TV. Well, they put it out on Twitter. Luke Weaver, last 13 appearances, 17 innings, no walk, 33 strikeouts. His opponents, they have a 287 OPS. That's baseball numbers. Those are video game numbers that you see on the screen when it comes to our guy, Mr. Luke Weaver. Shout out to my good friend Joseph Caputo from the shift. Oh, Joe, I miss you, you handsome bastard. Congratulations to our guy, Joe, welcoming a new child into the world. Shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Swift. Shout out to Swift Jr., Swifty Jr. Joe, I love you, bro. I hope everything goes well with the kid. Much love to you and wifey, bro. Congratulations, my guy. Make sure you guys go and follow the shift. He does amazing work when it comes to talking about the Yankees, the Giants, and the Knicks. Drop the congratulations for our good friend Joe.
Yeah, I mean, our relief pitching overall in 5 games now, 5 games in the postseason, has given up 1 run. One run. And that was last night by Hill. And it was only because he got so flustered after that play at first, that obstruction, whatever.
Obstruction, yeah. That's a good base. That's a good. That was a good baseball play by the Cleveland team. I just wanted to point that out. That's a smart baseball play.
I can't blame Hill. He's a pitcher. He's not a first baseman. He's over there trying to, it was just one of those things, one of those things that you cannot allow to happen in a close game. But last night it was fine. We were ahead. We were okay. We were late innings and it ended up being fine. But after that, he kind of, he kind of got flustered and he lost his focus a little bit and he walked a guy. I mean, he was just like a little off. And so he ended up giving up 1 run. Yeah. But other than that run, the bullpen has given up nothing in 5 games in the postseason.
I think that 8th inning, that's the first time this postseason when Aaron Boone makes a move, I second guess him, right? And I understand the logic, bringing in Hill in that 8th inning instead of going to Tommy Kahnle or Jay Cousins. I understand the logic. We have a game today with Garrett Cole on the mound. And I think Aaron Boone was trying to do what he does in the regular season, still an inning with one of the guys that are on the backside of your trust circle when it comes to the bullpen, right? Again, credit to Hill and Mazza. They've been great lefties for us coming out of the bullpen, especially in September. But if it was me, if I was doing that again, I would have went with Kahnle or Cousins. But I understand the logic because now Kahnle and Cousins are both fresh for today's game. I'm not sure if he'll use Clay Holmes back-to-back because, sometimes he doesn't like to use Clay Holmes back-to-back, and you may see Luke Weaver for an inning today, or you may not see Luke Weaver knowing that we have an off day tomorrow. But hopefully Garrett Cole shows up and he pitches a complete game shutout. If Garrett Cole does that, this conversation that I just had with myself is not existent. We don't need to have this convo because Garrett Cole threw a complete game. But last night's move, bringing in Hill in that 8th inning, that's the first time this postseason I scratched my head with the move that Aaron Boone has done when it comes to managing the bullpen. He has been great this postseason. That is the first move that I'm like, okay, he's trying to save his guys for tomorrow. Because when you look at Cleveland, they burnt their bullpen, but their big 3 bullpen arms did not pitch in yesterday's game. Class A didn't pitch. Their setup guy didn't pitch.
Yeah. I think I had the same reaction. But I kind of thought about it and I thought, I think like what you said, I think he was thinking about today and thinking he might have to use Kahnle in more of a closer role or something today. So maybe save him. Also in a 7 game, you don't want the Guardians to get too many looks at certain guys. So maybe he thought, we're up. I think we were up 4 runs at that point, or no, 3 runs at that point. I can't remember, 3 or 4 runs at that point. And he thought, let me throw in a lefty and see how it goes. I agreed with you at the time, but looking back on it, I'm like, I don't hate it. I don't know. We're going to see how tonight plays out. But yeah, I was upset about it more when Weaver had to come in for 5 outs. I was like, oh no, what, not that I didn't think he could do it, but just that I was like, it's unfortunate that we have to use our closer to get 5 outs right out of the gate. However, I did like that Aaron Boone was being aggressive trying to get the win. I mean, he was this close to game 1 win, and he said, fuck it, we roll. Here comes the closer. We're about to take this game. We're not messing around. We're not letting y'all come back a couple more runs. He pulled him and he put in the closer and we got the win. So on one hand, you can say, oh, you know, he shouldn't have done that, la, la, la. And then on the other hand, you're like, he did what he had to do to get the win. So
yeah,
I see both sides.
I want to shout out Old Sarge in the building. Old Sarge says, I'm a tough guy, but I can't deal with nails being ripped off and joints going the wrong way. I have the same reaction, Grace. Listen, you guys know I worked EMS and I worked in the hospital before, like in my other life, right? That's what I used to do before talking Yankees on the internet. But when I worked in the operating room of Bronx Lebanon Hospital, I was a PCT and a PCA, basically helping to set up surgeries that were going on. We had a case where that's what they call cases, where it was just a cadaver that just it was an organ donor, right? We had to keep the body alive while they were harvesting the organs. We had college kids on their rotations to be a doctor. I know, TMI, it's crazy. This is the funny part, Grace. We had young kids who were there doing their rotations, right? And I bring them into the room. All right, cool. We're going to do this. So we go into the room, and one of the kids passes out. He literally passes out, faints on the floor. And then 30 minutes later, he wakes up, and they're like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I faint whenever I see blood. Why the fuck are you calling to be a doctor? Anywho,
oh no.
Back to talking
as someone
Yankees.
with long nails, I've had my fair share of broken nails, and I can't deal with it. They hurt so bad, and I'm not like a baby about that stuff. I'm pretty tough, but the nails, oh god.
Yeah. No, it's tough when you see it, but sometimes you get numb to it. Like I worked EMS for many years, and you get numb to seeing stuff. Shout out my guy DJ. Look, Stills just said it. I'm a tow truck operator, and I've seen bad things. I've actually seen body parts and all that, et cetera, et cetera. Shout out to my guy Stelio in the building. Let's go Yankees. But getting back to this Yankee conversation instead of the doctors and stuff, Carlos Rodon.
Tell me more about cadavers.
Carlos Rodon, this is the stat that I wanted to bring up yesterday. MLB, they put it out there, right? So this is the tweet that MLB put up. Carlos Rodon generated 25 swing and misses tonight, the most by a Yankees pitcher in a postseason game under pitch tracking, and that started back in 2008, right? And I know the Yankees, we've had our taste of the postseason here and there. We had pitchers come and go, but the roller coaster that Carlos Rodon has been ever since signing his contract with the New York Yankees, dealing with his injuries from last year's up and down season this year. He started the year amazing. We all thought that he was going to be an all-star. And then he had that rough stretch of 5 or 6 games where his ERA was over 10, and then he figured it out. And you saw yesterday Carlos Rodon being a professional, right? And they talked about this during the broadcast. In that first game, I love what I saw out of Carlos Rodon in those first 3 innings. He was phenomenal, screaming, getting hit, being very animated. I love that. But he lost that energy going into the 4th inning. In this game, in yesterday's game, he was quiet. He saved all of that energy for those 6 innings. Even in the 6th inning when he gave up that solo home run, in the 4th inning when he gave up the solo home run against Salvador Perez, he rattled, he broke. In yesterday's game, he gave up that solo home run, and he went right on the mound, and he focused, and he was able to get out of that inning. So credit to Carlos Rodon for that. I just want to give him some flowers.
And credit to Austin Wells. Credit to Austin Wells. And in his post-game interview, Rodon gave all the credit to Wells. And he said, I don't even question Wells. Wells makes the pitch call, and I just throw it. I mean, what a pairing those two have made. And like you said, the roller coaster with Carlos Rodon, and Wells has been on that roller coaster with him all year. To look at their performance last night compared to a performance, earlier in the year, holy cow. I mean, they have really, really gelled. Really, really. I mean, they are a true weapon. Huge. And when they announced that Rodon was starting yesterday, people lost their minds.
Oh, yeah.
People lost their minds. And when he came out, I said, oh, this man is about to stand on business. He looked like a totally different guy. Not a different pitcher, but a different guy mentally. He was locked the f*** in yesterday, okay? Everybody knows. Everybody who's been watching him all year knows that. I mean, awesome. What else can you ask? And they said, since he's pitching in game 1, he's probably going to pitch game 5. People were losing their minds about that. Now, how do y'all feel? Now, how does everybody feel that Rodon, who shut them down yesterday, is going to pitch game 5 if it comes to game 5.
And this is why when you and I we have conversations, we joke. This is why critical thinking is so important, right? When people say, "Oh, well, that's common sense." The common American reads at a 3rd grade level, all right? So I don't want to have the same sense as somebody that reads at a 3rd grade level, right? So let's lay out the scenarios. They wanted Garrett Cole to pitch in game 1 on short days rest, on 4 days rest, right? Instead of Carlos Rodon. Now that Rodon has pitched game 1, and now you have Garrett Cole going for game 2, you have Garrett Cole lined up to pitch on short rest for game 4. This is how it works out. So what would the Yankees rather do? Would they rather keep Rodon on his 5 days normal rest day, or make him wait 6 days, give him an extra day off, that maybe throw him off, or maybe get him out of his common routine that he's used to? We understand, right? Rodon, and we understand Garrett Cole, he can go on short days rest. Carlos Rodon, we've seen what he is when he goes on short days rest or when he has extended rest, and he's not the same pitcher, right? So hindsight is 50-50. If we would have lost game 1, Yankee fans would have been, this is why we needed to start Garrett Cole. We don't need to have that conversation because the Yankees won, and they're setting up their rotation perfectly. So now you have Garrett Cole for game 4, so he could go on short days rest, and Carlos Rodon for game 5 on his normal days of rest. Point blank, period.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't ask for more than a shutdown performance. 0 walks. 0 walks.
And shout out, hold on, wait, Theo AA with the 199 super chat. Shout out to Theo AA, who says, like I said, number 27 is Mr. October. Salute mi gente. Shout out to AA. Salute, salute, salute. The fittest 60-year-old we know in our life is our Uncle Theo. No, Theo AA.
Absolutely. So have they announced the starting pitchers for more games? Have they said Hill's starting at all? I heard Aaron Boone was like, Hill will start, but
yeah, I was just about to pull up nosebleed section. They did say Luis Hill is ready for game 4. It was already announced before yesterday's game. So if it's an elimination game, I think they'll have Luis Hill ready to go out of the bullpen, and Garrett Cole would be the 4th starter. That in game 4. That's how, if I had to put money down, that's how I'll do it. They'll probably keep it Luis Hill if the Yankees are up. But if I was the Yankees, if it's an elimination game, you're definitely going to have Garrett Cole. But it can't be an elimination game because we already won game 1. So there's no way that it's an elimination game. So Luis Hill should be ready to go for game 4. Garrett Cole should be ready to go on short days rest if needed. But
so Schmidt will be 3.
Schmidt will be 3.
Okay.
Right. So it's Rodon yesterday, Cole today, Schmidt 3, Luis Hill 4, Rodon 5, Garrett Cole 6, if need be. And then game 7 is a toss-up.
Game 7 ain't gonna happen.
All hands on deck for game 7 if that happens. Folks, we have over 60 people watching us right now collectively across all platforms. We're sitting on 26 likes. If you guys can, please smack that like button. Let's get the likes up to as close to 50 as possible on the stream. 50 is the number we try to aim for. If you're watching us for the first time, hit that subscribe button. We are on our way to 5K subscribers. We are at 4,400, on our way to 45. So please smack that like button for the guys. Frankie Arroyo says we're in a great position to sweep this series. And that's something that I want to talk about, Grace, because
tell me.
I know I'm guilty of this. I don't like speaking for other Yankee fans, right? It's one rule that I never do. I don't like speaking for other people. I know I'm guilty of this, right? Counting my chickens before the eggs hatch. It's a saying that my Caribbean, my mother used to tell me that all the time. You never count your chickens before the eggs are hatched.
That's right.
It's something that my grandfather used to say in Puerto Rico all the time, but in Spanish. I don't know how to say it in Spanish though. So that's one thing that I always lived on. Don't touch the money. Don't start over celebrating, get too excited. If a sweep happens, right? I'm not going to go on the internet and call for a streak, right? So Franklin Arroyo, this is nothing towards you, my guy. Just know that I got the same love for the Yankees like you. But personally, me, Cleveland is the second best team in the American League for a reason. They're a phenomenal team. They have great hitting 1 through 9, especially situational hitting. They have good bullpen arms coming out of that bullpen. our starting rotation may be our strength over them. We do have a better starting rotation. The bullpen and maybe tie when it comes to bullpen. But again, I don't want to count out another team or shit on them just because we just won game one. This is a major league baseball team with the second best record in the American League. And like Aaron Boone said, Jose Ramirez, right? A lot of people say, oh, you can't believe he's here. Unsung hero. He doesn't get credit. This guy, Jose Ramirez, he's done had a Hall of Fame career so far. If he keeps producing at the way that he has been producing, he's a Hall of Famer. One guy that you guys know that I've been wanting for the Yankees to get is Jose Ramirez, right? So I just want to put respect on our opponent before we get a little bit too carried away, if you understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, we were just neck and neck with the Guardians at the end of the season for the best record in the American League. And they can win games. Don't underestimate your opponent. Never underestimate your opponent, for sure. But we just have to take one game at a time. I'm sure that's what the Yankees are telling themselves. One game at a time. In the regular season, we only dropped 2 games to them. And one game that we dropped was a walk-off in extra innings. So, I mean, they barely, you know what I mean? Like, that game was barely, and I think it was Ferguson who gave up both times, both losses. I think it was Ferguson who gave up the winning, blew the save or whatever. So Ferguson is gone. Best of luck to him.
But you remember at the beginning of the season, sorry to cut you off, when when Anthony Volpe got to Emmanuel Class A, we was able to come back and get that win. Shout out to Volpe for that.
I heard some crazy stat, Hector, and this is off the top of my head, so forgive me, but it was something like, Yankees have scored, Class A blew 50% of his saves against the Yankees or something.
The Yankees have Class A's number.
Yeah, and I also saw that, and I mentioned this on my interview with Dexter, it was the Yankees have the lowest strikeout rate per plate appearance versus the Guardians of any team in MLB.
Any other team in baseball. Yep.
And also, I think we hit the most homers. Hold on. Yeah, we hit the most homers in the MLB. 237 home runs last year, or this year. And so the combination of the lowest strikeout rate per plate appearance, the highest home run rate in all of baseball, that is a combination for what I want to see, power bats. That's what I want to see. Long at-bats with power at the end. Because Cleveland, that's not their game. I just want to say that. No disrespect, but that's not their game. So they can't match pound for pound our power. That's our advantage. Their advantage is the relief pitching. Our advantage is our power. So we have to use it like Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like that's our advantage.
You said it when you was having that convo from Dexter, and I'm gonna bring up a super chat from D in a second. But you said it when you was having a convo with Dexter. We go as far as our starting pitching takes us, to paraphrase what you say. If our starting pitching goes deep into a game, 6-7 innings, you're setting up our bullpen for success for the rest of the series, because now you're not overexerting guys. You're not using guys in the 5th inning when they're normally used to being in the 7th inning. And one thing I want to point out, right? Let's give some flowers to Mr. Clay Holmes, because Clay Holmes has been unhittable since being moved out of the closer spot into that 7th inning spot. Clay Holmes has yet to give up a run in the postseason so far, not only this year, but dating back to dating back to years past, right? So I want to give credit is due to Clay Holmes. I've been guilty of beating up on Clay Holmes, but Clay Holmes, he's reminding everyone that he is a solid reliever. And one thing that I want to point out is that during the after the game, they pointed out on Yankees Twitter, he's mixing in his fastball more than his sinker. And that's the thing that is separating him now, that he's freezing people on his fastball because they're expecting it to move and go out of his strike zone. He never threw his fastball, and now his fastball is up there, 99, 100 miles per hour. He looks like a different person, a different reliever. And again, I'm not sure of its situation, maybe coming into the 9th inning, because his struggle started happening, and people point this out when the Yankees introduced his intro music. As soon as they introduced his intro music with the flashing lights and everything like that, this when he started to go out of wax. But this is the one thing. In non-save situations this year, and dating back to when Clay Holmes has started with the Yankees, or when the Yankees traded for Clay Holmes, he has an ERA that's under 150. In non-save situations, Clay Holmes' ERA is below 150. He's money. My guy D's channel brings it up. We got 3 of the 2024 Rawlings Gold Glove finalists: Soto, Volpe, Verdugo. Congrats on being nominated. Congratulations to Volpe. Congratulations to Verdugo. And congratulations to Soto. Because as L.I. Yankee King says, I'm sorry to come into the chat with negativity, but Juan Soto being a Gold Glove finalist is a joke because he hasn't been good defensively in right field. This is why we love L.I. Yankee King. He likes to poke the bear. Shout out to my guy L.I. Yankee King, my guy Aiden on Twitter. The only Yankees troll we acknowledge is our friend L.I. Yankee King.
You know what? He doesn't have to be the best right fielder of all time. He only has to be the best right fielder this year, you know, in the American League to win the Gold Glove for right field. He only has to be the best out of, this is a saying my daddy used to say, you know, when you're running from a predator or whatever, you don't have to be the fastest dog. You just have to be faster than the slowest dog. You're not going to get eaten. You know what I'm saying? So, so he only has to be the best this season, you know? And he's had some good plays where he gunned out somebody all the way from right field to home plate. You remember that play where he threw it all the way to home plate and Wells got the tag, got the guy out, everybody's hype. I mean, he's had some great plays. I don't know all the other right fielders defense necessarily this season. That I don't know who, you know, would be just way, way better. I don't know, but good for them. That's awesome. Judge is still getting snubbed, I see. All right. Whatever. I mean, what does this man have to do? I don't know. Anyway.
Aaron Judge is definitely a Gold Glove center fielder in my books. I want to shout out my brother, my guy, Mr. Keith Saunders in the building. Keith, how you doing, my guy? Salute to my brother. Razel the Great is in the building. Razel, how you doing? Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's. But no, when you're talking about Clay Holmes, and Keith brings it up, Matt Blake, you know, he has a good one. Can we tip our cap to Matt Blake again? He got this staff locked in. And when you look at Matt Blake and the work that he has done since coming over, not only at the major league level, but the minor league level as well, guys are progressing and becoming better. Luke Weaver credits his success that he's having this year to the new changeup that Matt Blake taught him, right? Garrett Cole, when he first came over, he was dealing with the sticky substance stuff, and should he throw a curve, should he throw his cutter, or should he not throw his cutter? And there was 1 year in between that Garrett Cole, he gave up like 35 home runs in a season for a career high, the most by a Yankee in a season. And then during the offseason, him and Matt Blake, they got together, they worked it all out. And look what happened last year. He was a Cy Young last year, right?
And where did Matt Blake come from? Cleveland. The Guardians.
Cleveland.
And who has the best bullpen? The Guardians, arguably. Who has also the best bullpen, at least if you're talking to Hector and Grace? The Yankees.
The Yankees. The Yankees.
So, speaking of backing up the Brinks truck for Soto, they need to pay Matt Blake more. They need to secure him down for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Matt Blake, he's definitely going to be a hot commodity whenever he hits the free agent market. Some team is going to want him to be their pitching coach. But I think when it comes to Matt Blake, he has a great relationship with the Yankees organization. He has a great relationship with Aaron Boone, the manager of the team. So I think when it comes to Matt Blake, I think Matt Blake's job with the New York Yankees is, as long as he wants a job with the Yankees, he's going to have a job with the New York Yankees. Shout out to my guy Hector Cruz in the chat who says, sorry, but I agree with L.I. Soto has a negative defensive WAR. No, yeah, listen, I'm not here saying that Juan Soto is Ichiro in right field. I'm not saying this. Sometimes when you create a list of finalists, there's one person on the list that doesn't deserve to be on the list, but they still have to fill up a list. So if I had to put money down in Vegas, I'm not putting money down for Juan Soto to win the Gold Glove. Someone else would win the Gold Glove, but you know, Juan Soto did play above average defense in right field. So the issue that the Yankees are going to have, if the Yankees are going to re-sign Soto, which they should after his home run yesterday, if the Yankees are going to re-sign Juan Soto, it's about the musical chair act between him and Judge. Do you keep Judge in center field? Do you rotate him around? What do we do with Giancarlo Stanton and his contract? So there's a lot of questions that come up. But guess what? We don't have to have those conversations because this is postseason baseball. And it is postseason baseball. We got to bring up the fly guy, Mr. Damien Serrano. Damien, my brother, how you doing?
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Chat, good morning. We're doing good. How are you? How are you? Grace, how we doing? Everybody good?
Good, Damien. It's so good to see you.
Thank you.
See you, Damien. If you guys didn't see, there was a boat flying around Tampa. Damien was on it. He was on it. He was making sure the boat didn't crash into anyone.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Listen, man, I just see lots of boats, lots of signs, lots of projectiles. So listen, we all good though. You know, we surviving. So we're good.
Yeah. No, but listen, Damien, Grace and I, we've been talking, right? Game 1 is in the books. Giancarlo Stanton performed like Giancarlo Stanton. You've been calling it from the beginning of the postseason, but also Carlos Rodon stepped up, right? And he showed up, right? When Carlos Rodon signed with the New York Yankees, one of the first things he said was, I want to see what it is to pitch in the postseason. I'm paid not to pitch in the regular season, but to pitch in the postseason. And he showed yesterday why he cashed that paycheck. What's your thoughts, Dane?
Yo, Rodon, player of the game. He's shoved, right? Everybody was throwing a conniption fit that he was going to start game 1. And listen, the last start he had, obviously he imploded in the 4th inning. But it was clear to see that Carlos's emotions got out of control, got out of whack. And all he had to do was control those, hide those emotions. And that's exactly what he did. And once he knew how to harness that, listen, he went to 6 innings. He gave us those 9 punchies. And he's absolutely, along with a list of players, playoff G. Listen, playoff G. I've been telling people since the beginning of the year, that is going to be the guy. You never sit him because he's absolutely clutch. He's the best hitter. Listen, there's only one person in Yankee history that has more of a better OPS, and that's Babe Ruth. So put that in the books. But Rodon, going back to him, listen, he shoved, and that gives us such a huge advantage moving forward because now you got GC coming up tonight, Garrett Cole, the ace of the staff. Listen, GC may not even pitch as great as Rodon did last night, right? So far he hasn't. Garrett Cole's been Garrett Cole. He's been nails, right? The last start he had, but let's face it, Rodon had a better start than Cole did. So we're set up. We're 3 wins away. That's the magic number. So this 15-year drought can end. And listen, I can't be any more ecstatic. Between Rodon, like I said, playoff G, Verdugo playing great defense, Gleyber Torres continuing to do what he's doing at the top of the lineup. The list goes on and on. We just need a couple guys to step up. Jazz, we're trying to swing for the fences, calm it down a little bit. I think if Jazz, becomes a little bit more level with his swing, because everything you see with Jazz is trying to golf. He's trying to hit a home run on every pitch. If Jazz can just be Jazz. Defensively, he's been stellar. But offensively, he just needs to be Jazz and understand that. Again, harnessing his emotions. You could tell his emotions are getting there. And
he
Judge,
looked cold as hell. He looked cold last night.
Oh, he was. Listen, Jazz is from the Bahamas.
Hold on. Because this is something that people were talking about, making fun of people. It was cold last night. It was 47 degrees.
I'm just saying the fact. He looked cold.
I camped out on Randall's Island the night before, right? So I was in the elements the night before, camping outside. Man. It was cold. I was there with my nephew and my girlfriend. It was cold outside yesterday. So all you Yankee fans making fun of Jazz and the rest of it. One thing I'm gonna say is, I'll throw it over to Grace, is seeing those turtlenecks with like the MLB logo. I got flashbacks from the late '90s Yankees when they used to play. You remember when they played against the Minnesota Twins? No, when they played against the Minnesota Twins in a blizzard. Right. Yes. And Jose Offerman had the whole face mask on during that. That's what it reminded me of yesterday. So stop making fun of Jazz.
Yes, because Jazz is from the Bahamas. Okay. So
look, I'm not making fun of him. I love him. It's endearing.
Not you. I'm talking about the.
Oh, okay. But what I'm saying is, Giancarlo walks up there. He's like, boom, boom, boom. Jazz comes up there. He's like, okay. Now I'm exaggerating to make a point, but still rings true. Jazz looked colder than the other guys.
Yeah.
That's no shade. The Bahamas are nice and temperate.
I want to ask everybody in the chat, like Stephen B just pointed out, we got over 80 people watching us collectively across all platforms. 55 people are watching us on YouTube. Those of you on YouTube, smack that like button. It's free. It's not that much energy. All you got to do is take your finger, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let's get to 50 likes on the stream. Shout out to Stephen B in the building. My guy Future's in the building. Future, how you doing, my guy? Jacob Petruzzi is in the building. Our good friend Jacob, how you doing? Salute, salute, salute. Bronx Boys for Life is in the building. Let's go, Yankees. Let's go. Salute, salute, salute. My fault. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Grace.
That's right. I'm from Texas. I'm not used to the cold either. If I was up there, I'd be just as cold as Jazz. So I'm allowed to say that. That's why I'm allowed to say that. Because I don't even own a coat. I don't even own one.
Wasn't there like a snowstorm that happened in Texas like last year that just shut down the city, but the salt that they put on the street, the salt was more snow. You had more salt on the floor than you had snow. And it shut down the state of Texas.
Oh man.
First of all, how dare you bring up Snowmageddon? Second of all, this is the problem, and I'm not going to go on a tangent, but I just have to tell y'all, in Texas, we don't have basements, okay? That's the first thing. Second thing is they build our houses, they bury our pipes about, 4 feet underground, okay? So that's the problem. Up in the north, y'all don't know nothing about this life, okay? Our soil down here is clay, okay? Hard as hell. Cracked and dry, okay? So they only bury the pipes right below the soil. So when it freezes, the pipes crack and burst. We have no water, we have no power, we can't get it, okay? So it's an issue. So first of all, don't get me started on all that, okay? It's not like the snowstorms up in the north. Oh.
Anna Marie says, why don't they have hot tea or hot chocolate in the dugout? We see them hugging water. Why not something else that wait, what? We see them hugging. Oh, why not something hot? Listen, Anna, the reason why they don't have hot chocolate in the dugout is because it's dairy, and dairy can go bad if it's not stored properly. So this all OSHA. That's all that is. It's just OSHA. But let's get back to the conversation.
Issue. We'll have another Aroldis.
Yeah, we don't need players having to go run to the bathroom because they got a poo poo.
Oh my God. We have derailed this morning.
No, we did. We derailed. Let's get back to the conversation. But going back to the series, right? Going back to the series, and how they have it set up now with the starting rotation. Garrett Cole is pitching later on today, game 2 against the Cleveland Guardians. What do you expect out of Cole, right? We saw game 1 that week off. Garrett Cole just wasn't Garrett Cole. His second start, he was money. He went 7 innings. I think Garrett Cole probably could have gone longer if they allowed him to go longer. What is your expectations for Cole and the rest of the staff going for the rest of the series, Dame?
Listen, with Rodon's start last night, that's only going to feed Cole. Cole's going to want to come out and overdo that, right? He's a perfectionist. He's in the Bronx. He's going to feed off of that. And listen, bullpen has been nails. So this is going to be a low-scoring game unless we get to Bibby early, which is very possible. The only thing that I'm a little bit worried about, close-scoring game, listen, the Guardians didn't use any of their top-notch bullpen arms last night. Yeah. They didn't use Cade Smith. Obviously, we didn't see Clase. We didn't see Eli Morgan. We didn't see their top-notch bullpen arms. So I'm expecting this to be a low-scoring game. Yankees are going to have to jump on Bibby early, like get him out 3rd inning early to get into their bullpen. And listen, mind you, Guardians have the best bullpen in the league. However, the Yankees have had the best bullpens in the league in the past. And the one thing that's always killed us is that we overuse that bullpen. The same thing is happening to the Guardians right now. They have overused their bullpen. None of their starters have gone deep. 4 innings was the max any starter has gone throughout this entire playoff run. So best believe some of these bullpen arms are going to be able, we're going to be able to hit them, all right? Because, listen, they had the day off yesterday, 2 days off in total. But no matter what, that bullpen has been overused. You've seen Clase has not been Clase. Gave up that 3-run home run against Kerry Carpenter. He has not been the Clase that we know. Cade Smith, so on and so forth. So, yes, they have a dominant bullpen. We know this, but they have been overused. and that's an advantage for the Yankees.
Yeah, no, definitely, and that's something that I was pointing out at the beginning of the conversation, right? How Aaron Boone went to Tim Hill in that spot, and I brought it up. I think he was trying to save his good arms for today, because the Guardians, they didn't use any of their big three when it comes to the relievers, right? And that was the only time this postseason, Damien, that I second guess a move by Aaron Boone. I scratched my head when he made a Boone. I just thought this is a situation where Aaron Boone's trying to be cute and trying to steal an inning away instead of going to his A1 guys. And look what happened. Luke Weaver had to come in and pitch 5 outs.
Absolutely.
And get 5 outs. And he was money. But now the question is, will Luke Weaver be available for today? Will Luke Weaver be available for tonight? And if he is available, how much does he have in that gas? How much gas does he have in the tank to give you? Because he overexerted himself yesterday. Shout out to Luke Weaver. He has ice in his veins. I think Luke Weaver is our closer for the future when it comes to the next couple of years. But we have to be realistic. And let's be realistic. This is a guy that he's never done this before, right? So let's just travel with a little bit of caution, because the last thing we need is for Luke Weaver to turn into Scott Proctor and get gassed out, or Luke Weaver to turn into Tom Gordon in 2004 and just totally lose his confidence because he's just gassed and overused.
Absolutely. Luke is only going to be able to go 1 inning tonight. That's it. He won't be out there for no longer than that. So we can bank on that.
I agree with you, Damien. I remember he didn't pitch he didn't throw that many pitches though. I don't think so. I was trying 26. To look up. Okay, thank 26. You, Damien. Yeah, 26. So I think he'll probably be available for the last inning, or maybe even the last 2/3 of the ninth or something. If Canely can take it, can they ride Canely a little bit into the 9th inning? I could see them doing something like that, depending on the game, obviously. But yeah, he'll probably be available at least for a little bit. I hope. Maybe we won't need him. Maybe it'll be 7-0. Who knows? Mm-hmm. Yankees, I mean.
Yankees. Ghost just made a point, right? And this is what I was excited about, seeing Carlos Rodon show up and pitch the way that we know Carlos Rodon is a dog. We know that. Dang, if me and you, we out on the streets and we about to get into a fight, besides Judge and Stanton, right? The other only Yankee we would want to throw down with us is Carlos Rodon.
Absolutely.
Right? Carlos Rodon is a guy that you want to be next to you when it's time to crash out. And I'm happy to see Carlos Rodon turn it around. And hopefully he just uses as a confidence booster. And that next game is just better than his previous, and so on and so on and so on the rest of this postseason.
And also, I want to say, listen, to all you bandwagon casual.
Oh, wow. The casuals just shut you up. We can't hear you now.
So,
can't.
All right, you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry.
Right,
they tried to cancel me.
No, cancel me. Damien.
But listen, all you bandwagon casual wannabe Yankee fans on Twitter.
Oh no!
Why is it that
they're trying to do it again?
They did
so
it again.
Listen, Ashley Rodon, get at him. Listen, y'all better stop that nonsense, because that's all casual bandwagon fans. Real Yankee fans don't go after the man's wife like that. Cut it out. That's nasty. Cut it out.
Facts. That's something that we've always talked about on this show. There's a certain line that they don't cross, right? When Yankee fans were flooding Brian Cashman's daughter's comment section about Jason Dominguez, that's corny. That's a line you don't cross. When Yankee fans were making fake news articles around IKF dying and sending it to his father, that's a line that you don't cross. Yankee fans who spat on, what's this guy's name? Cliff Lee's wife during the postseason. That's why Cliff Lee never signed with the New York Yankees. Yankee fans a couple of years ago that were throwing beers or throwing bottles at Cleveland Guardian players. We don't do that at Yankee. We don't do that. I'm a fan that if I see a fan doing stuff like that, I'm gonna call you out on it, right? And I'm gonna make you, and I'm gonna embarrass the shit out of you, and I'm gonna make you feel real embarrassed. And if you want to have a conversation after that, we can have a conversation. I just think there's a certain line that you shouldn't cross as a fan, right? I've been to so many different autograph signings and seeing so many different grown-ass adults get out of character in front of children. It's uncalled for. At the end of the day, we're watching a children's sports. being played by professionals making millions. Sit back, enjoy the game, and shut up.
Facts. That's what was ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. I was like, you guys are doing this right now? So man, so tonight, what are you looking at, Hector? Grace, what are you guys looking at tonight? What do you guys got?
I like Grace, you can go first.
Me?
Yeah, you go first.
Let me see. What am I seeing? I'm seeing Garrett Cole going 7. Maybe 6 1/3. Okay. Then I'm seeing Hamilton for the rest of the 7th, and then Canely 8th and 9th. And we shut it down with final score 5-1. And it's a solo shot by J-Ram.
Okay.
Off Cole.
Garrett Cole's giving us 8 innings, 1 run in those 8 innings, double-digit strikeouts. Aaron Judge is going yard today. The Yankees are going to win this game 4-1. Aaron Judge is going to have a 2-run home run to put us ahead. And no, I do not have a sports almanac from Back to the Future. I'm just pulling all of this out my bunghole right now.
Listen,
so make like a tree and get out of here.
Judge is going deep in the first inning, okay? Soto on base. Judge is taking Tanner Bibby deep. Bibby has Judge is right there. He's hit the ball hard last night, got caught. Just missed the home run on that sacrifice fly, just missed it. Judge is about to lock in and go on a run. Best believe it. Judge will be the player of the game. Cole will be the pitcher of the game, and the Yankees will win a low-scoring game 3-1. But the Yankees will win tonight. And listen, if we win tonight, best believe this series is over in 5.
No, definitely. This listen, gentlemen sweep. Grace, I know you said 6 games, but if the Yankees win today, then it's over in 5. I'm just gonna put it out there like that. Again, we don't like to count our chickens before the eggs hatch. I just feel super confident in my team. If you guys can, when you guys leave, make sure you guys go and check this out. This is Grace's appearance on SNY. Make sure you guys go and check it out. She was fantastic. Comment in the comments section. You want to see more of Grace Monroe. You want to see more of Yankees Morning Brew on SNY so they can have us up there. All right, last topic before we go. This is the last one. And Damien, I'm going to have you lead the conversation with it because it's circling around Giancarlo Stanton. What is Giancarlo Stanton's legacy as a Yankee? Dame, go first. Grace, then myself, folks in the chat, let us know how will Giancarlo Stanton's story be written when it comes to his Yankeeography?
Man, Giancarlo Stanton will be the most high profile, underrated player of Yankee history. Most underappreciated, high profile Yankee of history. And I emphasize underappreciated because everybody has underappreciated this guy. He's always, when he's on that field, listen, you want him on the field. Not only does he lengthen the lineup, but as a teammate, as a player, guys go to him. Soto's going to him to learn how to become a Yankee, to learn how to deal with me. Listen, Big G, if I sign a contract here for 12 years, what is it going to look like? How's this journey going to continue? The greatest playoff Yankee of all time behind Babe Ruth. And you can specifically say probably better than Babe, because let's face it, Babe wasn't hitting 98 mile an hour sinkers out of the ballpark. So Big G, playoff G, everybody in the chat, every Yankee fan, if you hear this, salute this man. Because anytime a playoff game comes and he's involved and he's playing, you don't look at Judge, you don't look at Glaber, you don't look at any other Yankee that's on the team other than playoff G. Because playoff G's name is always there at the end of it. Whether it's a home run, a big hit, whatever the case is, the consistency that he lacks in the regular season more than makes up for it in the playoffs. So that's his legacy, 1,000%.
Agree. Grace, what's your thoughts on that?
I had a thought the other night, and it was, based on a conversation that we've been having all season about how we've got to get Aaron Judge a World Series ring that he is so important to the franchise and that he's got to have the World Series ring. Well, I had a thought the other night. What will Giancarlo's legacy be if he gets that World Series ring or if he doesn't? Mm-hmm. If we actually take care of our business this year, and if all the dominoes fall and everything lines up and we go to the World Series and Giancarlo is Giancarlo in the World Series, which he has never had the opportunity to do, and he gets that World Series ring. This man, a former MVP, he's going to finish his career with 500 home runs and a World Series championship. That is a totally different conversation than the one that is currently circulating around Giancarlo Stanton. His postseason numbers, his Babe Ruthness, his OPS higher than Joe DiMaggio, higher than Derek Jeter, higher, you know what I'm saying? His postseason presence will never be questioned again if he gets that ring.
Yeah.
This man will be in the iconography of Yankees glory forever.
Jim Leyritz, an amazing Yankee, an amazing human being. I've met him so many different times at the stadium this year. I've had the pleasure of interviewing Jim Leyritz with our good friend Mikey Mazza. Jim Leyritz, an amazing guy. But Jim Leyritz, his legacy is remembered because of what he did in the postseason for the New York Yankees. Jim Leyritz will always have a spot in the bleachers with the bleacher creatures because of the legacy he had built for himself in the postseason. When you're a Yankee, your legacy is made or broken in the postseason. Absolutely. For his career, Jim Leyritz is a 268 hitter and his 264 hitter in his career. The most RBIs he's ever had in a season was 58 RBIs in a season. But you would never think that the way that Jim Leyritz is treated by Yankee faithfuls inside of Yankee Stadium. The moment Giancarlo Stanton hits a home run in the World Series, or whenever the Yankees win a World Series with Giancarlo Stanton a part of that team, his legacy will be cemented in Yankee glory. Because if it wasn't for Giancarlo Stanton, I said it last week when we was talking. We don't have Giancarlo Stanton against the Kansas City Royals. We don't beat the Royals. Oh. We have Verdugo. We have Verdugo in left. We have anyone else not named Alex Verdugo in left field playing defense. We don't beat the Kansas City Royals because of those two amazing plays that he made in the postseason, right? So without Giancarlo Stanton, even during the regular season, we collapse in September without Giancarlo Stanton, and we lose the division to the Baltimore Orioles. I say that to say this, and you said it, Damien, and Grace, you said it as well, to echo what you guys both said. His legacy will be cemented in Yankee lore if the Yankees get to the World Series. When the Yankees get to the World Series, and I'm speaking it into existence.
Absolutely.
Giancarlo Stanton, 13 home runs, and the little bit amount of games he has played, he has given you more than what the Yankees ever paid when it comes to his AAV. He turns it on in the postseason, and they're lucky. His first at bat, he didn't hit a home run. It was just right in on his arms. He just missed it. So Giancarlo Stanton is locked in. In the postseason, you see a different version of Giancarlo Stanton. In the first series against Kansas City in Game 1, I think he had an opposite hit to right field. During the regular season, Giancarlo Stanton is trying to pull that for a home run. He has a different approach at the plate when it's the postseason. Different strategy.
I want to say one more thing about Giancarlo, which we haven't brought up yet, but I know y'all probably saw the same thing I saw. When the Yankees won the series in Kansas City, Bobby Witt Jr., everybody left the dugout except Bobby Witt Jr. He was leaning there watching the Yankees celebrate on his home field, feeling some type of way because, as we know, he only hit 189 in the ALDS. He felt responsible. He is a gamer. He's a competitor, and he will be back next year, trust.
Yeah.
And all the Yankees are over there celebrating. And who walked over there and talked to Bobby Witt, gave him a man hug, and gave him respect and said, let me shake your hand as a competitor. You know, we won this year, but I'll be seeing you next year. And who did that? Giancarlo.
Yep.
You know, as much as people talk, Go ahead, Hector.
No, I just want to say there was two chats that I
Yeah.
want to bring up, one from Anna Marie and one from Razil. But before I do that, shout out to Aaron Boone in the chat. Booney, I love you, Boone. You're the
What up,
greatest
Booney?
manager of all time, Aaron Boone. We gotta love Aaron Boone. Shout out to Booney in the chat.
Yeah.
But Anna Marie says Stanton's legacy is helping us snap a 15-year drought, being historic in the playoffs, being a man who took a lot of heat by the fans and media, but never complained and always was accountable. 100%, Anna. And then Razil the Great says, I've said it before and I will say it again. Big G is the epitome with the big E. These are big Scrabble words we're using, people. He is the epitome of what it is to be a Yankee. Never complains, never makes excuses, and produces when it matters the most. Shout out to Razil for that amazing chat right there.
Bobby Witt, all the players respect the hell out of Giancarlo Stanton, and the pitchers respect him too. When he comes to the plate, even when he's in a slump, right now he's locked in and he's a big time threat. Okay, obviously, but even when he's in a slump, those pitchers respect Giancarlo.
Pitch around him.
You got to pitch around him. The power he brings, the way that he conducts himself, not only at the plate, making at-plate adjustment. Okay, I mean, he's a legend already with the players. How will he be remembered with the fans? I truly think we need to win this one for Big G. I know we've been saying we got to do it for Judge. We got to do it for Judge. Giancarlo Stanton deserves a World Series championship. Yeah, that should be the battle cry.
No,
two quick things.
Definitely. Go ahead, Dame.
We all, fans gripe about Big G when he misses time in the regular season, rightfully so. But they should also, realize that when Big G goes down, the team is no longer the same. And so that happened this season as well. Big G went down. We were well above 500. Offense was clicking on all cylinders. The moment he went down, that lineup, everything became so different, and we went on a bad losing skid.
Yes, sir.
With that being said, Boone, I know you like the lineup, but do me a favor. If you want Judge to truly click, put Big G right behind him.
Ooh.
He will start seeing pitches, and they're going to be forced to pitch to Aaron Judge at that point. Why? Because Big G, the hottest player in the playoffs right now, is right behind him. So please, for the love of God, Boone, put him at cleanup. I get Wells. He's a lefty. You want the lefty-righty thing. But if you want Aaron Judge to seriously go on a run, put the hottest player on the Yankees team right now, right behind him. And I guarantee Judge starts going on the run as well. You don't want to see Soto, Judge, Stanton. You don't want to see that. As a playoff team on the other side, you do not want to see that. Booney, make that move because Wells is struggling a little bit. And, hopefully he pulls out of it. But make that move. Put G at the cleanup, and you'll see Judge skyrocket. Guarantee it.
Listen, I know a lot of Yankee fans are preaching for it, Damien, but I look at it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right? The only reason why I don't want to move Stanton or flip flop Stanton and Wells, Grace made a perfect point. Right now, you're leaning into Cleveland's strength. Their strengths are bullpen matchups, lefty on lefty, righty on righty. So, God forbid you have a situation where Giancarlo Stanton comes in the game. They could go to their lefty, walk Giancarlo Stanton. Now you got two lefties to face back to back, which makes it harder for Austin Wells, who doesn't hit left-handed pitching well, and Jazz Chisholm, who doesn't hit left-handed pitching well. I see what you're saying, right? Yeah. I do get it because Giancarlo Stanton is hot. If this was any other team, not named Cleveland, I would do that. It's just Cleveland, they have the advantage against us when it comes to the matchups and the lefty, righties coming out of the bullpen. That's the only reason why I was opposed. If it was Kansas City, I'm right there with you, Dame. We ain't having this conversation. But since it's Cleveland and that's Cleveland's strength, I'm not leaning into their strength, helping them out.
Sounds good. I
wish
I agree.
Judge was a lefty.
Yeah, if Judge was a lefty, we wouldn't be having if he was a switch hitter, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Right. One more thing before we get out of here, Damien. Just want to say I love you, brother. I'm glad that you and your family was able to get through this storm, and the folks in Florida were able to get through this storm as strong as possible. Right? Again, you my brother from another mother. At the end of the day, I just want to make sure you and your family is good. Last words before you get out of here, Damien, and then throw it over to Grace.
Yankees game 2 tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. We're taking up 2-0. And like I said, we go 2-0. This series is over in 5. So the drought is over. The drought is over. I promise you that. drought is over.
Grace.
The drought of Damien is over too. I'm glad to see Damien back up on this show where he belongs.
Yes.
We miss you,
Thank you.
Damien. When you're not
Thank
here,
you.
we really miss you. We love you. We're so glad you're okay and getting through everything down there in the FL. But yes, we are going to continue with the confidence that we are building. We're going to build upon it. Daddy Cole on the mound. Everybody's feeling good behind him. And Judge is going to come alive tonight from Damien's prediction. And can we please talk about the little sassiness we saw from Anthony Volpe when he gave guy the go sit down. I mean, that's the energy we need going into the rest of this series. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling grateful. I'm feeling proud. Very proud of the boys. So let's keep it rolling.
I want to piggyback on what you just said with Volpe, right? And I know that that's the remark with Kansas City, right? When him and Miguel Garcia got into it. This is the one thing I want to say, right? When that happened, a lot of people were like trying to, look at the Yankees and look at Volpe, that's dirty, blah, 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 blah. Let's rewind. Before that half of the inning, the Yankees, they had runners on. And what happened? Volpe lined out to Gurriel at first base. What did Gurriel do in front of Jazz Chisholm? He was moonwalking and showboating in front of Jazz Chisholm before stepping on first base. So I'm all, and Damien, you know what I'm about to say. I'm from the era of if you dish it, you better be able to take it.
Absolutely.
So for Miguel Garcia to feel some type of way when your teammate was showing up, Jazz Chisholm, literally a half inning before, I felt was out of pocket, and for them to try to get all tough, big, and bad. Listen, your boy did it first. But what did Volpe do? Just hit him on eye, my guys. Keep it pushing. Keep it pushing, my guy. So shout out to Volpe for that. Yeah, just go.
Absolutely.
Just go. I just wanted to pinpoint that because I saw a lot of back and forth on Twitter. Listen, if you're somebody who's going to pick on people and make jokes on people, don't start crying boo-hoo when people start cutting ass on you. That's the one thing I'm going to say. But like always, guys, let's go Yankees. Let's go Yankees. Let's go Yankees. Make sure you guys drink some water. Say something positive about yourself. And until tomorrow, because we'll be back tomorrow morning, I'm Hector.
I'm Damien.
I'm Grace Monroe.
This is Yankees Morning Brew, and we out of here.
You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.